He drops back, throws.
No!
It's intercepted.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Flipper55 with Fat Finger Gaming, and welcome to Fat Finger Gaming's preview of the 2015 Conference Championship games. We will go over the 4 Power 5 Conference Championship games. And of course, there's not a 5th just yet. In the regular season, Oklahoma did win the Big 12, so we'll see if they get into the college football playoffs. And we'll see live. All these games are going to be broadcast on Twitch Monday, October 5th, starting at 8:45, and Wednesday, October 7th, starting at 8:45. Monday, 8:45, our schedule consists of the first game will be Florida State versus Miami. Second game will be the SEC Championship, Georgia and Auburn. Then the third game will be just some other conference championship game that's not a Power 5, just to have fun. Then we'll go to Wednesday, and our first game will be just a filler, some conference championship game, and then we will go into our second game, which is going to be the Big Ten championship game between Michigan State and Wisconsin. And then Wednesday, the last game, will be our Pac-12 championship between USC, Oregon. Now, 3 of these 4 games are regular season rematches. So let's first start talking about our first game on Monday, starting at 8:45 Eastern Time. That's Monday, October 5th. It's going to be Florida State, Miami. Florida State, no idea what they're doing, no idea how they can actually win this game. They are going up against Gus Edwards and the Miami Hurricanes. Gus Edwards has rushed for over 1,500 yards. He has been the reason they have stayed undefeated, sort of the reason he stayed undefeated. The real reason they stayed undefeated was in Chapel Hill. UNC was looking for an upset of Miami, and Miami miraculously converted on a 4th and 8, set them up with seconds to go for a 51-yarder, which was booted through, and it kept Miami undefeated. Now, Miami has won with Gus Edwards along with Antoine Crawford, who's got 7 interceptions on the year. That's second in the nation. So Miami, between chewing ground and forcing turnovers, has been able to go 12-0. One of those games had to have been a 34-17 win over Florida State in Tallahassee. In that game, Florida State trailed the entire game, but only trailed by a score. So they were in it. But it definitely was a game in which it showed Miami was much better than Florida State. Now, what everybody wants to know, what is the point spread for that game? Well, the fat finger flipping point spread is 9.5. Miami's going to be giving up 9.5 points to Florida State. We'll see if it becomes a game or if Miami just blows them out, like I think they will be. This is the first time I'm actually on Miami's side, because I've said before just about every game that Miami is sort of like a paper tiger. They keep winning, and I'm not sure how they win. Their roster is much worse than most of the teams that they have faced. Not much worse, but it's worse than most of the teams they face, but they have still won. It'll be interesting to see these guys actually win, get into the college football playoffs amongst the real big boys, and see how they do. Our second game of Monday is going to be SEC Championship. Georgia, Auburn. Auburn, best defense in the land. It's not backed up by turnover stats. It's not backed up by sacks. It's not backed up by anything. You just got to watch these guys pound offenses into submission and get a 3-and-out and give their offense a very good field position to take it into. Jeremy Johnson started off the year horrifically. And Auburn started off the year horrifically. They started off 1-2 with losses against Texas A&M, embarrassing loss against Texas A&M, and an embarrassing loss against LSU in the Bayou. Against LSU, they were able to take the ball away from the Tigers 5 times, but still wound up losing 34-24. Offense was not doing good, but the offense did finally get going, and towards the end of the year, it has looked very nice, especially with that win in the Iron Bowl to clinch the division championship 49-28 over Alabama. On the opposite side of the ball, speaking of inept offenses, Georgia's got one. Georgia, in a 3-game stretch, scored just 2 offensive touchdowns. Now, they won 2 of those 3. They beat Florida 10-7 with 1 offensive touchdown. They beat Kentucky 20-17 with 1 offensive touchdown. That 3rd game that they lost was to Auburn, which they lost 30-6. Their only touchdown being a kick return for a touchdown. Georgia is 10-2. There are 2 losses against Alabama and Auburn. They have beaten the teams I thought they would beat. They have lost the teams I thought they were going to lose. And I think they're going to lose this SEC championship. And I think they're going to lose this SEC championship badly. The fat finger flipping point spread on this thing is 10.5. Auburn's going to be giving up 10.5 points to Georgia. You would think that's completely absurd, a 10-2 team being a double-digit underdog, but it's not. Georgia's inept offense, Auburn's great defense, and now clicking offense should have this a laugher by the time we get around the mid-third quarter, end of the third quarter. We roll into Wednesday's game. Now, remember, the first game of Wednesday will be something. It will be an American, Mountain West, MAC. It will be some kind of championship game. Let everybody get in their seats and get ready for the main event. And I think this is the best championship of the 4. Michigan State versus Wisconsin. Connor Cook versus Corey Clement. Corey Clement goes into the season, or ends the regular season as the leading rusher with over 2,000 yards. He has made everybody that we've seen on Fat Finger broadcast, he's made them look stupid. Not to mention the backup Ogun Bawala. We'll go with that. Against Minnesota, both of them ran for over 100 yards, so it doesn't really matter who you put back there. Taiwan Deal actually got a touchdown, their 3rd string, so seriously, it doesn't matter who you put back there. Wisconsin's rushing attack will click. On the other side, you've got Connor Cook, who's been getting his Michigan State team to a 11-1. Their only bad mark was against a undefeated Oregon team in East Lansing. Wasn't the best game for Connor Cook, but Connor Cook has been able to loosen things up to Delta Williams, who has, without a doubt, made the most of the holes that you will find when the offense starts clicking, starts gunning the ball downfield. People get nervous, people start peeling back, and the rushing game starts working amazingly. This game right here has got the best matched up teams and should go down right to the wire. This is the only one that has not had they did not play in the regular season. So undefeated Wisconsin, 1-loss Michigan State. The fat finger flipping point spread is 2.5. They're going to give 2.5 points to Michigan State. So fairly close, not a pick'em. Should probably be a pick'em, but they will give Michigan State 2.5 points in the Big Ten championship. Now we will move on to our final game, which will be the Pac-12 championship. Oregon, USC. We've seen this before. Oregon, who has just allowed Royce Freeman to win their ball games. Now, Vernon Adams has been great when he's needed to be, but it's been Royce Freeman who has just picked things up and just ran with it. And that's what they did against USC in Outson. They controlled the game. Now, the final score was 34-27, which makes it look close, but that really was just a bunch of garbage points, and Oregon never really had a shot, never really was in any threat of getting the game tied or losing the lead. But that was when, somewhere in the second quarter, Royce Freeman just took over. Here's the problem, though. In the Civil War last week, or week 13, Royce Freeman got hurt. He will be out for the Pac-12 championship, maybe out for the playoffs. we will see. He will probably be ready if they go to the championship. But other than that, I don't think he's going to be ready. On the opposite side of the ball, the Trojans have a solid Cody Kessler. Cody Kessler has gone to William Clark, the EA creation there, and he's done great. He's absolutely done great. Juju Smith, when he needs a long throw, that's who he goes to. So the Trojans, a solid lineup, but just not as good as a Royce Freeman Oregon Ducks. Now, are they as good as a Royce Freeman-less Oregon Ducks? Now, this point spread was going to be more than a touchdown until Royce Freeman went down. And there's even people saying, should USC be actually favored now? Which is actually a good question, but they're not going to be. It is going to be a 3.5 point spread. Oregon will be favored, so they'll be giving up 3.5 points. I think I'd be taking USC in this. Now, speaking of who taking, who am I taking? And we're going to go point spread here, especially since we got a bunch of blowouts. So we got Miami 9.5, giving up 9.5 to Florida State. I'm actually going to go with Florida State. I think Miami's going to win the game, but I think it's going to be close. Once again, me thinking Miami's a paper tiger continues to seep into my head. But I do think Miami's going to win and go to the college football playoffs. Auburn, Georgia. Auburn, 10.5 point favorites. Give up 10.5. Hell, give up 14. Auburn will crush these guys. Michigan, Wisconsin. I'm going with the favorite here. I'll give up the 2.5 points and give it to Wisconsin. Do think Michigan State has got one deadly offense, but I think the running attack is just going to get Wisconsin by just a field goal. USC, Oregon. I badly want to go with USC, but I will also give up the 3.5. You know what? Forget that. No, I'm going with USC. I'm going with USC. I think Vernon Adams. I think Oregon probably wins this game, but I will take the 3.5 points and go with USC on this one. If you want to put in your pick, just go into the comments section. Put in your pick for all 4 games. I encourage you to join me Monday, 8:45 Eastern Time. That's October 5th. For the ACC and SEC championship game, and I encourage you to join me on Wednesday as well, 8:45, to witness the Big Ten and Pac-12 championship. I appreciate you guys watching. Definitely, if you're watching this, definitely put in the comments, put in your teams who you think are going to win. Y'all have fun.